Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 9. That is 9. If I can see where my fingers are, of Smith's Grove Sanitarium podcast. Today, we're talking about our top 10 scariest scenes in horror movies ever. Eventually, I think we had discussed doing like a top 10 scariest and family films, non-scary or non-horror films, but I figured, let's start out with horror movies. That's the the bread and butter. So the top 10 scariest movies that we can think of in horror movies. And that's going to
Right.
be 5 from me and 5 from Josh.
So
So
hopefully we'll have a diversified list, but you never know. We end up having a lot of coincidences, so you never we'll probably have a couple, but I don't know.
yeah, I'm curious. So I guess before we get into that, what's new? What's going on? Which anything you want to bring up?
Not as far as news, not really, but I have a new purchase. We can talk about some of the things we got. I just got one thing.
Mhm.
So far, really nobody's putting out anything that I've really wanted lately.
Mhm.
Um, but I finally got something that I ordered a while back, so I'm extremely satisfied to say that I have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre second sight
Hell yeah.
release, which is absolutely beautiful. And it comes with a gigantic book. I mean, literally, this thing is thick. Like, this is
Man,
a hard book.
that looks like a
And it,
novel.
yeah, it is. It's got, hold on one sec. Let's see. It has 185 pages.
Damn.
Yeah, and it is, and then it comes with the actual movie, which is it's in this nice little art.
Man, that's so
And it's
awesome.
got all 3 discs. And then it comes with a set of lobby cards. And it's in this beautiful set. So I am extremely glad that I got the second sight release on this. But like I said on previous podcasts, after I missed the Dawn of the Dead one, there is no way in hell that I was not getting the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one. So,
Man, I'm kind of jealous now. I like the Dark Sky one, but I kind of wish I would have waited. That book is awesome. I want a book
it
that
is.
big.
I want to read it. I mean, I'm curious to see. I'm sure there's probably not much new that will be in that because, like, if you've read Gunnar Hansen's book on the making of Texas Chainsaw, it's pretty thorough.
Mhm.
He goes down to like days on set. Like, here's what we did on this day. Like,
Mm.
so like, I mean, it tells you almost everything you want to know. But and then we've had so many documentaries and different people talking about it. So I'll be interested to see what it says. But that'll be something I'll read on. So,
Yeah.
but as far as releases, that's the only thing I've really gotten. Kind of boring. Nothing's piqued my interest. What about
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, I got a few things, but I haven't bought a ton lately. I haven't bought a lot of stuff. Couple Blu-rays or 4Ks. I think I showed this to you offline. House of a Thousand Corporate Corpses, the 20th anniversary steelbook.
I like that cover. I thought about getting that other one, the other version of that, but I'm like, eh. I mean, I like that movie, but I don't like it enough to buy it again.
Yeah, it's not it's the same quality as the old Blu-ray. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it's got new footage behind the scenes. So I just gave away my digital copy probably if someone wants to pause it. But yeah, I just wanted to see the behind the scenes. That was kind of cool, and wasn't too much at Best Buy. And of course the best, the Corey Cunningham magic.
Oh man, dude, I gotta
Oh,
get that. I have to get that.
got the steelbook.
God, I love Corey.
Yeah,
Can't get enough of him.
it's the only one I didn't have of the new ones. So I was like, man, I have to get that. I didn't care. I was like,
Yeah, I don't have that one either, and it's weird. I like huge Halloween fan. Don't have it.
what's weird is that one, that steelbook is going for a little bit more. It's on eBay. It's kind of pricey, but it's still available on the Best Buy site. I don't know.
Really?
So I would get it because I guess people aren't checking the Best Buy site or something because they're trying to sell it for like a little more on eBay. I think it was like 40 or 50 on eBay. So yeah.
That's ridiculous.
The only other two things I got recently was they did it wasn't Record Store Day. Yeah, I didn't do that yesterday, but there was a record convention in Rivergate Mall in Madison, Tennessee. And I got Gremlins soundtrack.
You said this was at the Rivergate Mall.
Yeah.
Oh man, that place has fallen from grace. That place used to be the hangout spot. It had everything. Now it has like nothing. It's dead.
Yeah.
Dude.
My
Terrible.
wife was talking about how sketchy it was, and I was laughing. I was like, yeah, it looks dangerous.
It used to be great, dude. Like it had so many people. Like there were days you would go in there and like if you weren't like glued to the person you were with, like you'd get lost. There were so many people in there.
Really?
But now it's like now it's like I guess that's that way with a lot of malls. Like just people just don't go to malls as much anymore, but like it's just dead.
Yeah, pretty. That was like Hickory Hollow. I heard that one back in the day was a big deal. And now it's nothing,
Yeah, it's sad, kind of.
Got this too. Freddy's
Oh man,
Nightmares.
that's pretty awesome.
Which is funny. This was only 20. And
Oh really?
yeah, the person selling it, they were laughing because they were like, yeah, we've had all these like horror fans come up and pick this up and put it down. And one of them said they were a big Freddy fan. And I'm like, and they didn't get it? And they were like, no, nobody wanted it. And I'm like, for 20? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of weird,
Cool art. I like the art.
Yeah. But that's really all I had purchase. So I guess the only three topics I was going to bring up. The first one, I'll go ahead and get it out there because it's a big one. Well, it's a big one in the horror community.
And I don't know this yet, so I'm excited to hear breaking news.
Breaking, right. So apparently, as of 30 minutes to an hour ago, Synapse Films and Red Shirt Pictures is working on a 4K of Trick or Treat.
Oh shit! Really? Okay.
Yep.
Wow. Synapse. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they were wrong when they said that Vestron was going to do it.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Dawn of the Disc just put it out, and I guess Felcher announced it on his podcast, the Spooky Horror Picture Show, I think.
Uh-huh.
So it looks like it's a 4K. It is going to be a Blu-ray and a 4K. But if Don May's doing it, it's going to be a great transfer. That's for sure. He's not going.
The only question is, how long is it going to take before it comes out? Like, yeah, I love Synapse, and they do a great job. But sometimes they take a while on their releases. But that's okay. I know it's coming, and when it comes, it's going to be very, very good. So,
yeah, it doesn't say when, and I want to say that there was it says 2023 on here. Oh, okay. So I guess this year, but it doesn't say when this year.
Probably like in the fall, maybe October. That would be cool.
Be perfect.
Yeah, I would bet.
Man, that movie is that's like probably the most underrated 80s horror movie around. I mean, because like not enough people know about it, and it's just really good. Like the whole thing through is just a good movie.
When you were saying they should put Gene Simmons on the front.
Yeah.
And Ozzy. They should put them on the front. That would really make people buy it. Oh my god. Oh man. Well, you said that people were anticipating it, so I said it's either going to be Trick or Treat or it's going to be Fright Night 2.
Oh god, that'd be killer too.
If only those Menendez brothers didn't kill their parents, we would have a Blu-ray of Fright Night 2.
We just went dark.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole reason we don't have it.
You're right. No, it is. Yeah.
God, why did they have to do it?
But someone's done. The thing about that is, though, someone has done something with that because you can watch an HD version of Fright Night 2 online. It's on
Yeah,
like YouTube.
overseas they have Blu-rays of Fright Night too, but not in the
Yeah.
US because of rights. That's same kind of thing with Dawn of the Dead. Like they have rights to release it in other countries, but not in our country.
So someone in the
Go
UK or
figure.
something is messing with that transfer. I don't know what they're doing, but it's out there for sure if you want to watch it.
They just got to put it on a disc.
Yep. Which I guess you could if you wanted to. I mean, I think there's bootlegs. If you want to watch the movie, there's probably a way.
I just want a nice release though. A nice steelbook that can go with my Friday Night 1 steelbook. That'd be good.
Hell yeah. Yeah, because that sequel is really good. I think Fright Night 2
It
is
is, man.
it's
It's
solid.
great.
It's a lot of fun. So kind of in the opposite of that, there turns out I saw Trauma was putting out a Toxic Avenger 4K set.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I gotta not get that. I can't wait to
Yeah.
not get that.
Yeah, I'm good with the Blu-ray of 1. Like 1 is the only one I'd like. I don't.
I think I remember liking 1 and 4 for some weird reason. Oh, okay. I do have something news related that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything about this, so somebody can maybe in the comments clarify what this is going to be about, or I could do my due diligence and actually read it. But I heard they were doing a remake of Faces of Death.
Yes.
What is that? What is that going to be? What is even the concept? Is it all going to be fake footage? Like all like because I mean I don't assume they're actually going to show people really dying.
I think that it's something about I don't remember who was talking about that. If it was Dead Pit, somebody was. I think that it's like the idea is that these people find this footage and they think it's fake, but then it's not fake. So it's like meta. It's like they're looking for the footage, but then they find out something's real.
That's what
don't
I kind of
know.
figured it'd be something like that. Like people were curating footage that's supposedly real or fake or what whatever, but it's all like actually just fake people's deaths and stuff. And it's like, why? Why don't I don't need a remake of Faces of Death? Like this is the
No,
last thing I need a remake of.
we're kind of living that in real life. If you think about
Yeah.
it, that's the whole thing. That's life. We see that all the time with
Yeah,
just horrible
like
school
that
shootings.
that's a
And,
movie that's a movie series that I just don't want to watch.
no.
Like the covers are awesome. I love the covers, but like if I don't want to go that defeats the whole purpose of why I want to watch a horror movie. I don't want to actually see people getting killed.
No, dude.
Like I'm good. I want to escape reality and see something, that's not real. Because it's kind of safe knowing like some of these scenes we're going to talk about, these are scary scenes, but it's like I can turn it off and be like I might be like, oh man, that was scary, or if it's late at night I'll be like, man, that was spooky. But like I also know that it didn't actually happen, whereas if I sat down and watched some people getting killed, I'm going to be like having nightmares about it.
Right. I mean, I don't. I think people get curious about like the cartel videos and stuff like that, and it's seeing real death is never worth it. It's never something you want to see because it's not. We're in. I mean, we're into, like you said, we're into fiction. Fiction is very much different than reality, and you can't unsee some things.
No, you can't,
unfortunately.
because I've got stuff that's just burned in my brain that I accidentally saw that I wish I did not see, and it's just like, God, you can't. Yeah, like you said, you can't unsee that stuff.
Oh, it's horrible. I remember as a kid seeing those, and I was always intrigued by it. But fuck that. Nah, I don't care to see any of that crap. Honestly, I don't know. That's like what's that rotten.com site that used to exist?
Yeah.
It's like
rotten.com. Gore zone.
Yeah, Gore zone.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
But that was pretty much it. So I guess we can jump into the topic. I know that I saw Evil Dead Rise, and I know you haven't yet, so we'll kind of wait for another time to talk about that. I don't want to jump into that yet, but I guess so. Today we're talking about the top 10 scariest scenes ever in horror movies. So I guess we could start with our honorable mentions. I have three. I don't know how many you have, but if you want to
I have
start, we can.
three.
Yeah, we can start
Okay.
there.
Sounds good. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if I can share the screen.
Mhm.
Do. All right. Okay. I am now sharing my screen for my
Oh,
number
yes.
for my first honorable mention. The chest burster scene from Alien. A classic scene. I can
Mm,
only imagine what people in 1979 thought whenever they went into this movie, because everything, the movie goes on for quite a while before this happens, and they're just like all peaceful. They go to the planet, they do all that. They have the face hugger that comes and gets on them, and you don't know what's going to happen. Then it just falls off, and everything's fine. And by the way, spoilers. A lot of the movies we're going to talk about, these are going to be spoilers because these are
right.
scenes that happen in these movies. So this is a huge spoiler for Alien and pretty much all the rest of my choices. But so they go, they're just having breakfast, they're all sitting around the table, and the guy just starts, having pain. Everybody's like, oh my god, what's going on? And then an alien flies out of his chest. And it's just like,
Terrifying.
oh my god. And everybody's reaction is really genuine, because like the application that they used to have this alien come out of his chest, they didn't really tell everybody how it was going to work. So it started coming out and like blood was flying everywhere, and everybody was really like, oh my god.
I didn't know they didn't know. That's
Yeah.
hilarious. That's awesome.
So like yeah, and it's pretty crazy, because and then the alien just like comes out and just like runs out like like, oh
Man.
man. But it's a great scene.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
I would say, if you're watching people that are talking about the scariest scenes in horror movies, more often than not, you're gonna find that scene. But just a classic.
Oh, it's terrifying. I mean, yeah, that just it does come out of nowhere because you don't really know what you're in for until that point. You don't know
Yeah,
exactly what you're in for with that movie. I think after that, you kind of know in Aliens what you're in for, but that's where it's like, oh fuck, this is not just we're looking at stuff. This thing's coming at us. So
yeah.
man. Um Number three for me of honorable mentions. Let's see if I can get this going. Share screen. Let's see. All
Oh,
right.
okay, I see.
Bruce says hello in Jaws.
Gotcha.
This scene to me, it's not so scary now, but when I was young, first seeing this because this is like the first time you see the shark, and it's so subtle, like because
I
the
love this
ocean.
scene.
Yeah, because he's like throwing the chum out, and he's like, "Why don't you come get some of this?" And
Yeah,
it's so the ocean, the way it's so dark in the movie, you don't notice it until he just comes out.
I just love his reaction where he's like,
Oh yeah,
he's just like looks over, he's like,
dude, yeah, and he walks
uh,
back, and they haven't seen. And that's the crazy thing is like he's the first one that sees it, and he knows, and they haven't seen him yet. So they're
well,
like,
I love how one of my favorite things about that movie too is that the scene where the shark attacks right there, where the shark comes out and then it starts attacking the boat, and he's like, he says, you're going to need a bigger boat. So like you there for a sec, you think, okay, maybe they're going to go back to shore. They're going to get some more stuff or whatever. But no, everything just escalates 100% from that scene. Like once that starts, it's on the whole rest of the movie. The shark's just attacking them the rest of the movie.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. When they start shooting those barrels out, it's over. I think that's
Yeah.
over. Like, and yeah, I think it's one of those things too where that movie. It's kind of funny that he's the one that stops the shark because he's the one that's the most scared of everything. He's the guy that
Yeah.
has no experience. He's terrified, but he's the only person. I mean, I guess what's his name? Hooper. knows what he's doing, but Hooper just gets unlucky with
But Brody doesn't even want to get in the water.
Right. He hates it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I can't imagine at the end, where they're swimming back on the when they're swimming back and everything. And I'm like, that would be terrifying. Like, I know they're having a good time, but I would be freaked out.
Right.
I'm like, there's got to be another one in the water somewhere.
Like, I know. I would be like, oh, God. Yeah.
Like,
fuck, man. There's no way I could do that.
Okay. All right. So my next honorable mention. This is a classic.
Oh shit! Yeah.
the ending scene to the Blair Witch Project, which I know a lot of people say it's a guy standing in a corner, but it's just the way that it's done. It's so effective. I mean, yes, they don't show anything, but this is an example of having something scary without showing anything, because it kind of tells you throughout the movie, like you're getting little hints and stuff, and it's like, oh, she would make people stand in the corner that didn't listen or whatever. And then, like, he's standing in the corner, and it's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And then she just drops the camera, and then that's it. It's just on him. It's scary, man.
Yeah,
that whole movie is scary, but, like, that scene in particular is like, oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. The audio, too. I think the audio is what makes that movie, because you hear all that stuff, and the end when you're hearing they did really good with the audio in that movie. I mean, because especially when you're watching that the first time, you don't know that you don't know what you are going to see. So by the end of that movie, you're sitting there thinking, well, you might see a witch, maybe, but you don't.
Right.
Which I think it's good they didn't show it, because nothing that they could have shown would have been, worked. Nothing is as good as what you think in your mind. So.
And the acting sells that whole movie, man. Just the acting from them is incredible in that movie, just because they really sell the situation, regardless of how you think like the situation could be. One thing I heard, like an idea I heard about the movie, which I kind of thought was interesting, was that the whole movie there was actually no ghost or witch or anything. It was actually just people out in the woods, like, messing with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that's intriguing. And a lot of the stuff, whenever they were filming the movie, like, they were really just messing with them, like making them terrified and stuff. And I'm like, that's scary as hell.
Yeah, that kind of goes. There's also and you've probably seen this too. There's that theory that the whole movie is basically Mike and Josh killing her. They're going after her.
Yeah.
Like, they're just messing with her, and that's a setup to kill her at the end, which is still kind of creepy if that's the truth. But I don't know.
Anyway, you want to spin it, the movie is creepy.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. So here is my second honorable mention. Let's see if I can find this thing.
So I'm getting creeped out. We've talked about some creepy scenes.
Right. So this is Insidious. Well, if it'll, I don't know if it'll show. I had it.
Oh no, what's going on?
Oh, no. There we go.
That is such a good scene, man.
Yeah. The first time I saw this, it was horrifying in theater, because the way they did that. I
thought about that.
Man.
I really thought about putting this on my list, just because this is it's such a effective scene. This one of my favorite things that James Wan does is he's not afraid to make it scary in the middle of the day.
Yes.
And that's something that just people just don't do. And it's not a big jump scare where it's like you're expecting it to happen. It just, they're in the middle of a conversation and she's, it shows him sitting there and the demon's right behind him. It's like, oh my God. And the same thing, they go upstairs and right behind that baby crib, that guy's just standing there, and then they walk back by. That was creepy as hell the first time I saw that, because it's like, what the heck? Because he doesn't like it. It's not like a huge like boom. It's just him standing there. Or like they go downstairs and that guy's just dancing by the box. So it's like, oh my God, what the heck?
That kid, oh gosh.
Yeah, that kid just runs out of that closet. It's like, just stuff like that. It's like, man, that's horror without having to like, do this dumb thing where it's somebody going blah and there's some loud noise,
Right.
It's just good. And I will say I thought about including this as an honorable mention. I guess I'll honorably mention it right now, but in Insidious Chapter 3, which is a Lee Whannell movie, great movie. I think it's very good.
Yeah.
It might be my favorite Insidious movie. But at the very beginning of the movie, like before this character gets hit by a car, she like looks down the street and there's this like demon like waving at her in the distance.
Wow.
Very, very creepy. Have you seen Insidious Chapter 3?
No, is that the last key?
No, it's I think it's just called Insidious Chapter 3, I think.
Is it the one with so I'm trying to remember. Is 3 the one with Dermot Mulroney, the guy from Scream 6 in it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay, so I haven't seen that one. I've seen 1 and 2. And now the new one's coming out soon, The Red Door. That's the 4th one. But I need to see 3. I haven't seen it yet.
It is honestly really good. I think it might be the best one. It's got some really creepy scenes in it. And I'll say this, Lee Whannell, fantastic director. Also an amazing actor. I love him in Saw. Anyways.
Yeah.
And he's good in the Insidious movies too. He plays in Insidious.
Yeah.
So he's one of the paranormal investigators. So
oh yeah, him and the guy, the bigger guy. Yeah, I like them. I think the Insidious movies. I think a lot of people rant and rave about The Conjuring. I personally think Insidious 1 is better than The Conjuring, just because it's like, to me, Insidious is kind of like a modern Poltergeist. That's kind of what it reminds me of. The Conjuring is more of just a haunted house movie. I mean, I get it, but
The Conjuring's probably a better made movie. Like,
sure.
Objectively, The Conjuring's probably better, but like Insidious is more like crazy.
Yes,
which I like.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they would bring that lipstick face demon back too. I like him a lot.
Right. I know. It's just, there's something about that movie, the music and just everything they did with it. It's like, it's memorable. It's like, I agree. Conjuring is better as a film, but Insidious just sticks to me more.
And
I don't think about The Conjuring much.
Insidious Chapter 2, though, it kind of sucks.
I agree.
It turns into like a Shining ripoff for a minute.
Yeah, they took the whole bride in black, and that didn't work. It worked better in the first one where it was subtle. It was creepy.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm good. I didn't need to know all this.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so this is my number 1 honorable mention, and it is also the first time that we're looping on each other, where we're having the same pick.
Oh,
I will say this is a different scene.
Oh, shit.
But same movie.
Let's see. Oh, nice.
This is a scene from Jaws where Hooper goes to look at the boat that's abandoned. And he's looking around and he looks in a hole, and then this guy's head comes out and goes, and every time I see it, I'm like, oh my God.
That looks like Curly from the Three Stooges, doesn't it?
And it terrifies. Yeah, kind of does. And it just terrifies Hooper. He's like, but I don't blame him. It would have scared the hell out of me as well. So, but man, it's just something like, I don't know why. It's like a jump scare in a movie that, it's really the only jump scare in the entire movie. It's the only time where it's like something just comes out and like scares you really. Mm-hmm. Like in same for Halloween. Like in Halloween, whenever that gutter breaks off, busts through the window when Sheriff Brackett and Donald Pleasance are talking, it's like, it comes out of nowhere.
He pulls the gun out.
I do have a permit.
He like pulls it out like, I got it right here.
I got a permit for this.
Oh shit, man. That's awesome.
Oh man.
Let's see.
Right, let's see.
So here's my final honorable mention, and this is kind of a divisive movie. A lot of people like it. A lot of people just think it's not that scary, but it scared the hell out of me when I first saw it. See if you know what this is. Do you know what this is?
Oh man, I have no idea what this is. What is this?
The Poughkeepsie tapes.
Oh, okay.
So this is a movie. It's about a serial killer, and it's kind of a fake mockumentary. It's they find these VHS tapes of this killer. They discuss the killer. It's done kind of like a 60 minutes type thing, and they show footage of the tapes, and it's just creepy as hell. Like it's some of it is silly, but I think at the time when it came out, like in 2007 or 8, it was just really eerie watching this. This guy was just like, I don't know, some of the stuff they do in this movie is just terrifying. And that's why and really this is not a scene, it's just really the movie itself. This
The whole
guy
movie.
and the killer, he just does some shit in this movie that's like horrifying. Like he tapes a girl up and he's like crab walking backwards to her and like creeping up on her. And then like he dressed in this like Shakespeare mask and like taunts this girl.
I was gonna say I like this outfit. This looks cool.
The scariest thing he does in the movie is like there's one scene where he's filming this couple and they pick him up. He's a hitch. Have you seen it? I didn't know if you'd seen it.
I think I saw it like when it first came out, but it's been a minute because I know people were like, "Oh, it came out," and then they re-released it or something.
Yeah,
I can't remember, but then I saw it then whenever like it got a re-release, but that's been a while, I think.
yeah. There's a scene where he's picked up by this couple and he's acting like he's filming a road trip. So he's like, "Hey, I'm just filming," and they're like, "Oh, okay." And so it's like VHS style in the '90s, and he just like as they're driving down the road, he just hits them with a hammer and they wreck. And then later on, it shows a CCTV footage of him, and he's like at a gas station, but it's blurry, and he's giving directions to find their bodies. So he's sitting in front of a camera and he's like doing this. He's doing like this code shit. I don't know why that scared the fuck out of me when I was like 20. I watched that. I was like, this is horrifying. Because I think it was just that this idea, this guy, I think at the time I was really reading more about serial killers. So like it was just like this dude could be like anybody in real life, you know?
Right.
I think that it just affected me. Now, if I watched it again, I don't know if it'd be as scary. But.
Well, everybody's got their every movie impacts people differently. So some scenes are like really scary to other people, just aren't scary to some people. But
yeah.
It's all about how it affects you. But I mean, I've seen that on a lot of lists, so I don't think you're alone in that choice.
Yeah, it's probably not as scary now. I mean, I'm sure there's stuff in it that would be kind of funny to watch now, but yeah.
I saw it, but it's been so long ago that I don't, to be honest, I don't remember anything other than like the cover. That's
yeah.
But okay, so for my number 5, we actually talked about this scene a couple of weeks ago on one of our podcasts. But this is my scene, very brief, but my scene, and this is from Return of the Living Dead.
Yes. Okay.
Whenever they get the paramedics get in the car and turn the headlights on.
Man, yes.
And there's just a crowd of zombies standing in front of the headlights, which, if you look closely, it's just on screen very briefly. And then they jump in the car and rip them out. But like, it just looks like some people with mud on their face, but terrifying just to think about turning headlights on. There's just like 50 people standing in front of the car. Like that's just,
yes.
Like that is scary to think about. That's one of the scary things about zombies is like there's like no escape. Like you can't, like in this scene, and then also the scene where they're driving and then they're trying to escape, and then there's like 100 zombies and they're like running after them. They've got to turn the car around real quick. That kind of the same thing, just like a huge horde of zombies, and it's like, man, you're just screwed. But this scene in particular, because the way the music plays in this moment, they turn the light on and it's like quiet, and it goes boom. They're like all standing there. It's like, oh shit. Like, they're dead at that very moment.
Oh yeah, that movie is just like that's like the scariest horror comedy I can think of, because it's just those zombies, like they're fast, but they talk. That's what
They're smart.
Yeah, like it's
And
just
and on
creepy.
top of that, they're like impossible to kill.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like the worst. Like they picked the worst zombies for a comedy. Like they're like
I know.
impossibly. Like you can't kill them.
Yeah, you really can't, those guys. I mean, it's like they are that's a really good pick. I didn't think about that one, but that's kind of terrifying, that scene when they just come out. That's thinking about it. Yeah.
That one scares the hell out of me, just because like whenever I watch the movie, it's very unsettling. It's like, oh my god,
Hmm.
that's got to be the most unsettling scene in that movie, and for me, any zombie movie.
Yeah. The let's see, number 5 for me. This is kind of a common one with people. I'm sure a lot of people feel this way with this damn scene. Well, this is not a scene. This is a person in a movie. You probably already know what I'm going to say by saying that.
Oh boy.
Zelda
Oh, okay, yeah,
from Pet Cemetery.
yeah.
Holy shit! This doesn't bother me so much now. When I
Uh-huh.
first saw this as a kid, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
horrifying.
this is one of those things where it's like you said, when you see it as a kid, it's creepy and it's something you keep in your head.
Yeah,
But like when you watch it as an adult, it's like, this is what scared me? Like
you're right.
it's more weird as an adult. It's like what's going on?
Yeah,
But that picture is pretty scary.
yeah, because
But
that's the
like
part where she's like running up. That's what scared me. Is she's like in the corner and then she hurries to the front of the camera.
I think
You know?
what it is that's scary about it, especially when you're a kid, is it's so not real looking. You know, it looks unreal, like the way that the pose and everything, and just the way that like how pale and everything. It just doesn't look real, and it's
Not
kind of
really.
freaky, and it just happens out of nowhere too.
Yeah. Ugh.
But I mean, yeah, as an adult, like whenever I watched this scene again not too long ago, I was like, okay, well, this I had a different. Like I kind of embellished it in my mind, I guess. Like it wasn't as scary as I remember it being.
That's
And
still.
same with that scene. I don't have this on the list. Oh my god, I'm bringing up another honorable mention. And apologies
Oh, that's
if you
okay.
have it on your list. That scene in same thing. That scene in Salem's Lot where that kid's floating at the window.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I don't have that one, but that is a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, but like when I went back and watched it, it's like okay, it's a kid floating. He's like,
Yeah.
like okay, all right, okay.
Yeah. He's
And
like,
then
yeah.
okay, so and that that's a thing that's probably going to be something that will come up in most of ours is like okay, so like for this next one, when I was younger, this scene scared the ever living crap out of me. Now I rewatched it for this, and I tried to rewatch all these scenes for this. It wasn't as scary, but it's still scary. Now I would be shocked if we both had this on our list,
Is
but
this your 5 or 4? I forget.
this is my 4.
4. Okay, I couldn't remember.
All right, so here is my number
Oh
4.
shit! Yes, I know
So
this. Oh,
this is
shit.
from the amazing movie Don't Look Now.
Oh gosh, yes.
And what makes this movie, what makes this scene in particular so scary is that the whole time he sees this person going around town and he thinks that it's his daughter that had passed away who was wearing this same style jacket. And he kind of sees her all throughout the movie, and there's a lot that's going on in terms of like him talking to spiritualists and supernatural stuff. So you think maybe it's like a ghost of his daughter or something like that. But then also in the background, you kind of hear a little bit. It's like brought up. It's like, oh, there's a serial killer going around killing people. But like he don't really pay much attention to that. But then like he like finally at the end of the movie he sees her and he's like, I'm gonna chase her down, and he runs up to her and turns her around, and it's the serial killer old lady, and she just looks at him and it's like, oh my god. And then he realizes, he's like, oh shit, this is the killer, and then she just proceeds to kill him.
I know that's just looking at I haven't seen this movie all the way through, but I've seen this clip a lot. Man, it is very creepy. I mean, I'm just looking at this is terrifying.
But
Like
to
if this
me,
was, man,
it's the thing that makes this so scary is that it's the whole movie is built up to this one part And then it's like, oh crap. Like it's just like shocking because you've been waiting to see what's happening, and then it all just happens. And it's like, God. And I remember I watched this when I was really young, and it freaked the hell out of me.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Because like I didn't know what was happening. Like it's like not a ton had happened, and then like at the end of the movie that happens. It's like, oh my God.
This kind
So
of has
just
the look of the way they shoot this scene. It's not the same thing, but the way they shoot this is it's similar to the way they shoot that scene in Alice Sweet Alice when it
yeah.
shows the mask come off.
Yeah.
It's like a similar like movement the way they're doing it. I don't know.
Yeah,
It
no.
reminds me of
Whenever
that.
I think of that, I think of that movie as well. And sometimes in my head, I get them confused just because of that. Because another movie with a person in a raincoat,
Yeah,
and that person's got a mask on, and you think it's somebody, and it's not. So it's kind of similar.
that's probably what it is. The raincoat. Now that you say that, that's probably why
Yeah.
I'm getting them
But
together.
but now, like just like you were saying, man, these clips, these pictures, man, they're scary pictures, dude.
So here's my 4. It's another one that gets on a lot of lists now. It's a great movie. I think it's a very underrated movie. But this scene, first time you see it, there's no way you see this coming. I don't care who's seen this. There's no way you guess this.
Oh God. Yeah.
I mean,
See,
man,
oh man.
there's no way to know that's about to happen in that movie unless you've. Because I saw this scene before I saw the movie. So when I saw the movie, I wasn't as worried about it. But golly, this scene, holy shit. It's just so fast.
Yeah, it is. It's just like, oh God, what the heck?
Yeah.
Comes out of nowhere. But you're expecting something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But not that. Like not
No.
this scene, not this frame. Like you're expecting something to happen like more related to him in the room or something, but then it just happens like you're just it's just like a scene where she's walking. You're not expecting it, it's kind of like a transition scene or something. You're not expecting it to happen right then.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why it's so terrifying is because it's like a transition and they're zooming out. So it's a
Yeah.
wide thing. And when you go wide like that and you see something way in the back, that's like an interesting way to do tension. And I
Mm-hmm.
just think it's so sudden. Plus, it's just Exorcist. I think the plot of this movie does revolve around a serial killer, but it's interesting that a kill like this would be in a Exorcist movie. But yeah, I can't praise this movie enough though. Outside of this scene, I think this movie is really underrated. I think the first one is still the best, but this is a great sequel. So,
So this was the inspiration for Clock Tower. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, it might have been
It
honestly.
kind of looks like it.
That's probably what they were going for with Clock Tower. Now that I think about it, because that's the same thing.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, so this one, I am not gonna lie. The first time I saw this scene, I was like passing out in the theater. So this is a newer movie.
Mhm.
So I saw this movie, and when I saw this scene, I was like half awake because I had a long day. So,
Yeah.
but when I got out of the movie, I was like, man, I don't know why everybody liked this movie. I didn't really like it. Then I went back and watched it one night. I was home alone, and I was like, okay, damn, this movie is actually really scary. All right, so here we go. Here's my scene
Oh
in
shit. Yes.
Hereditary.
Oh man. It's
Oh
scary.
man, yeah, dude, this scene was fudging scary as hell. It creeped me out when I got done watching the scene. I was like, oh my God, like it creeped me out so bad because like you just look up, you're like, what is that noise? And she's just like up there, like chopping her own neck off, and I'm like, oh my God, like that. Oh my God, that's so freaking creepy, dude.
Man, I have mixed feelings on that movie. It's really good, but it's like it's very scary. It's not something I watch a lot, but it's that whole movie is just the builds to just that ending. It's
Oh
nuts.
man, dude, that whole scene, God, the scene is so creepy, dude. Like that is so that gives me chills. Like it's creepy as crap, man. And just the way she's like expressionless. It's
Oh
like, oh my
gosh.
God.
Yeah, that last picture down there, terrifying with the eyes. Holy crap.
Yeah. It's just like he looks up and it's just like it's so out of place, you know. It's like what? Somebody's hanging, somebody's floating, chopping their head off. You know what I mean? It's like what?
Yeah,
It's just so unnatural.
Yeah, and then you got the whole movie, the sister. You hear her, she's doing a. You always hear that like in the movie, and you're like, ugh. Like after she gets the what is it, the stop sign beheading thing or whatever.
And I know everybody always like is like that's the scene in the movie. Which that scene, I mean, that's to me that scene's less scary and more just like sad.
Yeah, it is. It's
like
sad,
that scene is
yeah.
like that's like sad, dude. And
Yeah.
like her, that's some fantastic acting in that scene too from the mother. Like, oh man, that's some real like when he's laying in bed the next morning.
Yeah.
And she's just like goes outside and you could just hear her screaming. Oh God, that's horrifying in a whole different way. Like,
yeah, that's a traumatizing movie. I mean, there's just so many things that happen. But I do agree that the scariest is her hanging in that wall. That's like, ooh,
it's just so unnatural.
Yeah. Let's see, number 3 for me.
I'm not gonna be able to sleep.
This scared the crap out of me as a kid. I still think it's creepy. It doesn't scare me as much now. I just think this is like one of the best jump scares of the series.
Oh boy.
You might agree, you might disagree.
Let's see.
Oh Lord. Michael
God.
Alice.
Yeah.
In part 2, that especially the eyes, like when he bounces up and you see the eyes, like that just when I was a kid, that terrified me, man. That scene. I know. And that's the scene.
Yeah. And then the ambulance goes like right after this.
This is definitely a scene that John Carpenter shot. He shot this after the fact. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because like, oh man, I love the framing for the scene too. She's like, you know, oh, that's right down the street.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, oh my God, the door is open. I would have been like, it's right down the street and the door's open. I'm freaking leaving. There's no way I'm going in there. And if you think about it, she walks into her living room, like, or she closes the door, she's walking back. Michael Myers was like ducked down, like behind something. He jumped up and stabbed her. He was like ducked down.
Oh man. Yeah, I would have jumped out the fucking window.
But yeah, that's exactly the music's like boo. And then it goes whoa, whoa. And blood just sprays like all over, like
yeah.
Oh man, you know that out of every scene, see, spoiler, I do not have a Halloween scene on my list. But now just thinking, like, if I had to pick any scene for any Halloween movie, period. I mean, that's a good one. That's a good one. I would probably pick either. Yeah, that's probably the one I'd pick, I guess, because I mean, just to me, Halloween, it's so beloved to me. They're just so fun to me. I just don't see, like, none of it is even remotely scary to me. I guess it's just the same with like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, it's so near and dear to my heart that none of it is even remotely scary.
You're right.
But then I guess that's when like casual people like are watching one with me and they're like, oh my God. And I'm like, what are you talking to? This is great.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
I think we're sort of desensitized because of the fandom, but I think in the first one when he, I think there's a lot of stuff that's scary in the first one, but I think that just him sitting up in the background and then doing the turn, and then my favorite thing is when he like slowly comes up and like his arms, like I'm like, fuck, man, like that still is so good, you know.
In that, whenever they re-released that movie in 2012, I saw that movie in the theater.
Yeah.
And people were screaming in that scene whenever he raised them. And I was like, this is amazing. This is amazing. Awesome. It was great. And I've actually heard audience reactions from 78 too. Like people had recorded audience reactions and people were screaming their heads off when that happened. I'm like, that would have been amazing.
Oh man. I'd have loved to have seen that live. That'd be great.
God, dude. Okay. All right. Okay. So I don't know if this is going to be on your list or not. Maybe. I don't know. This is, again, a newer movie. And I remember when this happened in the movie, I was like, oh my God. This is, again, this is another jump scare. This is just a picture of the scene. But yeah. Let's see. Do you know what this is? I know it's not the greatest picture.
I'm trying to figure out what I'm looking. What is that?
It is a lawnmower.
Oh, is this Sinister?
Yeah.
Okay, Sinister. I was
This
like,
is the same.
yes,
The scene in Sinister where
yes.
Ethan Hawke takes the can and decides to watch another home movie. And in this one, there's just a lawnmower mowing the lawn. Everything's good. And then just goes over a body in the yard.
Yeah, that's horrifying.
Oh my God, dude. Okay. The ending of Sinister, I'll say this. Sinister is a scary movie. All the tapes that he watches, the one I think the one's really creepy where like the family's like, or the bodies are in that car and it just gets caught on fire. I think that one's scary. The one by the pool, like I think they're all scary.
Yeah,
The ending of the movie sucks.
I agree.
Where all of a sudden he comes out and there's like these little ghost children all of a sudden and stuff. I'm like, okay, now you've gone full blown cliche with the ghost kids.
Yeah, Bagul, was that his name? Bagul or
Yeah.
something? I didn't like that
I
they showed all that. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, come on. Like you were doing so good and then you just fumbled like right at the end. Because like and then Sinister 2, everybody just says sucks a butt. So I never watched it.
I hadn't seen it. I wondered myself. I hadn't seen it though. But yeah, this is
But this scene in the
terrifying.
first Sinister, man, it's freaking scary, dude.
Well, I think like with that movie, I like that movie a lot. I think he probably didn't know how to finish the movie because it's almost like he set it up to be this really creepy sort of like true crime but supernatural thing. And then like at the end it just kind of like you said it doesn't work. I don't think.
I think it should have just all been clips he was watching. And then at the end, maybe he's like somehow in one of the clips or something. And then it ends on like a scary scene or something, you know, instead of like, oh, like we gotta face him or whatever. And then like, there's these ghost kids running around in the house. And oh my God. Like I remember in the theater, I saw that and I was like, oh God, they've ruined it. They ruined it. The ghost children, which was like, you know, in the 2010s, ghost kids, man. Ghosts and ghost kids. That's like every horror movie that was coming out was ghosts.
Yeah.
And demons. And I'm like, oh my God, how many ghosts and demons can we have? Like,
I agree. That's why that stuff doesn't scare me. That's why like everybody talks about that movie. What's that Nicole Kidman movie? The Others, everybody always talks about. Like I just that's not scary to me. Like kids that are ghosts is not scary to me.
well, I mean, there's so many movies like that. And there's like so many ghost movies, like all the Paranormal Activity movies, all those weird related Paranormal Activity movies. Then you've got all the Insidious movies, all the Conjuring movies. And then you've got like the Grudge movies, The Ring, and all that. It's like, how many ghost movies?
Right.
And like to me, that's not as scary for the most part, like paranormal stuff, just because it's like so far out of the realm of like reality to me, where it's like, yes, some of them are scary, but like it's when it's more realistic to me is when it's scary. Like, yes, that scene I picked in Return of the Living Dead, it's zombies, but it's like this is just a fear of a giant group of people in front of a car, you know?
Right.
Or like in Sinister, yes, it's like a supernatural entity, but it's like footage. It looks like somebody found this footage of this mower running a body over, you know?
Exactly. Well, it looks real. Yeah.
And that's what I was saying. Like at the end, when it goes all supernatural, that's when it just falls apart, you know? So for me, most of the time, the scarier scenes tend to be the ones that are more like real.
Yeah. So my number 2 is not a scene, it's a character. But it's basically anything this character is in this movie. Once again, not as scary now as when I was younger, but I still think it's very creepy. I think it works very well even now.
Oh boy.
Let's see here. Frank from
Frank.
Hellraiser.
Gotcha.
Yeah, anything with Frank is like scary. And when it first shows him in the attic and he's creeping and he's like slowly walking up, and I don't know, it's just I think the way they shoot him in that movie is so scary. And then when he turns into the dad, like he consumes the dad, and then you can tell the eyes, it's him. Like the eyes are weird. They're like tinted weird, so you know it's not. Or I think they're black or something, and you just know it's him. And I don't know, like that's just. I feel like all the Hellraiser movies they strive to get that. After that.
Well, the balance of what makes the first movie so good, I think, is like Pinhead and the Cenobites are like secondary to Frank and her getting Frank resurrected.
Right.
That's like the main part. The main bad guy in the movie is Frank. It's not Pinhead or that giant demon that's crawling on its hands or whatever. It's Frank. And like he's the bad guy. And so Julia's coming with people for him to, basically rebuild himself with. And just, yeah, you're right. I mean, it's creepy, man. And he's, just him being like in that picture that you've got there, like he's like, he looks wet. Like,
yeah,
I bet they put a lot of spray all over him every scene. Like, all right, we got to spray you down.
Get the blood spray.
But then, like you said, whenever he takes her father's skin, I like that, like around the seams, like where his hairline is and around his ears and stuff, there's like blood. Like it's like he's just wearing his skin.
Yeah. Yeah, I really think they sort of took the wrong point from that movie with the sequels, because I think Pinhead is scary in a way, but they decided in the sequels just to be like Pinhead is the villain. Well, I guess in the second one it's the Doctor, but then in the later ones it's Pinhead, and it's like I don't know. I don't.
In
like
part
that.
2, I mean, they kind of got back to that where like it's like about other stuff with like Inferno and beyond, but like.
Yeah.
Those just weren't Hellraiser movies anyways.
No.
But yeah, like Hellraiser 3 and 4, he is like a slasher killer, basically.
Yeah, and he just doesn't work as much for me. That's why I never liked those as much. But yeah.
So I'm curious for what you have as your number one. I hope maybe we didn't pick the same thing, but we may have, so let's see.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Right.
I don't know.
So my number one, it is from one of my beloved horror franchises.
Okay, we haven't picked the same thing then.
But not.
It's not a franchise movie, mine.
All right, well, here's my beloved.
Oh, nice.
To me, and one of the scariest scenes in any movie is from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I fought in my head between, do I pick this scene, Franklin's death, or do I pick the scene where Leatherface first comes out in the house when he opens the door?
Oh, yeah.
And kills what's his name? Bob, I think. No, not Bob. That's Halloween. Kirk, when he kills Kirk with the sledgehammer. I thought either that one or Franklin's death. Because they're both like iconic, like Leatherface coming out. But to me, this is the scariest because they're going through the woods and they're like, Jerry. But my favorite part, though, the thing that makes it so scary is she's like, or Franklin goes, Sally, I hear something. Stop.
Sally.
He just comes out. He's like, and she's just looking, screaming like, ah. Like,
yes.
Oh my God!
And you captured a good image because this is you get to see kind of pretty clear here the mask and everything too.
Yeah, and I mean the crazy thing too in this scene, right? So they've got the camera. Toby's got the camera right behind Franklin's shoulder, and he's got Gunner just going to town, and I can't remember who it was. It might have been Kim Hinkle was behind the lens, and he was just tossing little drips of blood all over him.
Was he?
Yeah, he was just like throwing it on him. And he's like, this is the bloodiest the movie gets, and it's really not that bloody. No, Toby wanted this movie to be rated PG. I shit you not. He was shooting for a PG rating.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, which this was pre PG-13, so it was either PG or
Yes.
R. So he
Mhm.
wanted this movie to be rated PG, but I mean, dude, the content alone, regardless of what was seen on screen, because it's really not that graphic, but like the idea is like horrifying. So there's absolutely no way.
Yeah, because that was the same year as Jaws, and Jaws was PG. Or Jaws
Yeah,
was
and you know
Jaws
what?
PG, I think.
Yeah, Jaws came out the next year, and it was PG. And
Yeah.
now that I'm on that, I want to bring up something else too. Since we're going to talk about ratings for just 1 second, there's a Dracula movie, and I shit you not, it's like the year the rating system came out, right?
Yeah.
And it's called shit. I'm trying to find. Oh, here we go. Let's see, which one is it? Dracula. It's on this 4-pack. Dracula has risen from the grave.
Uh-huh.
And it's got a scene where Dracula gets impaled and he's bleeding from his eyes. And he's like, oh, he falls. This is how they kill him at the end of the movie. Spoiler. He falls on a cross and it like stabs through his chest. And Christopher Lee's like, and he's got blood pouring out his eyes. Rated G. Right. G.
Same as Bambi, right?
Meanwhile, you've got another movie that came out right after that that has nothing nearly as bad, rated R. So
Isn't
I
that
don't
weird?
know. I don't know why they decided. They're like, you know what? We'll just give it a G. It's fine. Like a lot of movies, they just put not rated on if it came out prior to the
Yeah.
ratings. But they said no, that one's good, good for children. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
It's so weird. I mean, in this movie too, I mean, this scene is cool, I just think because when he's chasing Sally, and I remember reading about this, like he's busting ass after her. Like he is on her. And she had to he had to slow down. He was on her so fast. Because like
Yeah, that's yep.
it's scary. Like when you're watching it, you're just like, he's right there on her.
And he did a thing. You'll notice whenever they come up to the house, the road, he runs down and then he comes back. And he did that to give her some distance. And that's also
Oh,
why he
okay.
would stop. He would stop and cut tree limbs and stuff.
Yeah.
So he could give her a little more distance. So you'll notice that Leatherface will be chasing her, and then he'll just stop and start cutting limbs and stuff. But like he ran around that corner the first time he did it too. He wanted to he runs down the corner and then he comes back. And another reason he did it was because like he ran one time around, and he had so much momentum that he dropped the saw like in midair, and he said he just went down and put his hands over his head, and it landed like near him, but he thought it was gonna land like right on top of him.
Oh, I didn't know that, man.
So like you'll know, yeah, Leatherface like sometimes runs really weird too because of that.
Yeah, that movie, it's weird. It's not, like you said, it's not gory, and I think the tone and I mean, it does deserve to be rated R. But I think just kind of what it represents and some of the craziness of it is why it's so, it's considered to be exploitive.
And then I shared another picture.
Oh, gosh.
Also, same scene, just terrifying looking. I mean, oh my god, like that's whenever you first see it. Like this is the face you see. It's like, oh my god, that's horrifying looking.
Man. And they try to redo this in Leatherface, the part 3. When they're working on the car, you hear,
and I love that. I love that scene, man.
Yeah,
I love that scene. To me, Leatherface Part 3, that's like the perfect here. Yeah, okay, let's get you started into horror movies. Here you go. There's this like vanilla horror movie. Like, I don't know, man. That scene is so good too. I love that scene.
Yeah, that's a good movie. But this picture, this is like.
I mean, those eyes, dude. Like, oh my god. Like, I always remember this image in my head too. So I had to look this image up too to share this image, just because, like, oh my god, it's scary,
man.
And just like, and again, this goes back to what I was saying. It's, this is so realistic. This could easily, happen. Like,
yeah.
It's just a guy with a chainsaw.
And he was wearing mouthpieces the whole movie, right? I'm guessing for all that. Yeah, I've never read into that part of it. I wondered if he was. I'm assuming he was wearing like a whole mouth guard with the fake teeth and all that. But
Yep.
yeah, that's interesting. So number one for me is
I'm excited.
once again. This is I don't know if I want to rate these like 5 to 1. This is just the 5 that came into my head, but this is definitely a top one. It's not. I don't know if it's as scary as now as when I was a kid, but it just when I was a kid, this was just very creepy. Maybe it's an odd choice for number one, but Prince of Darkness.
Oh man.
So this is the scene, in this scene for specifically, where the girl who's been possessed, she looks over, and Dennis Dunn is locked in the room, and she's like trying to come into the room, and he's like, "Help!" and he's like banging on the wall, and they're trying to get him out of there. Like that build up to that is like terrifying in that movie because it's some of the stuff in that movie doesn't work as well as others, but that girl, the way they did her makeup and the way she like moves and stuff is like really spooky
Right.
to me.
And I always thought all like video footage and the voices over the video footage and stuff in that movie is creepy too.
Yes, this is not a test, or this is
Yeah.
not a dream. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
That was
that's a
great.
good choice. I didn't even think about Prince of Darkness when I was making this.
Yeah, in the end, I think I'm glad they didn't show Satan, like because I know at the end she the girl that the main guy and the girl, she's like gets pulled in by the hand through the glass, and he pulls this the demon or Satan pulls her through. And I'm glad they didn't show it. Like they showed the hand because I just feel like you can't win in those scenarios. Like
Right. Yeah.
there's no way you're
I
gonna
mean,
make Satan look scarier than you can imagine. You know?
exactly. Yeah. Just leave it up to the imagination, leave it off
Yeah.
screen because then, then we can picture what we think, would be the scariest thing. So I agree.
Yeah, and I know that like in Legend, like I thought the makeup they did for Tim Curry in Legend for the Prince of Darkness, I mean, that's cool. I think that is a scary looking, like I guess Satan, Prince of Darkness. It
Hmm.
didn't say Satan, but I guess that's who he is. But I just think, it's better just not to go there because you're never going to get it right, you know.
Yeah. I'm
But
trying to think of like Satans that looked cool in movies. I don't know.
I don't
And
know.
then I'm gonna share one more thing, just a one
Yeah.
last honorable mention because there's so many damn scary scenes. This movie always unsettled me.
Hmm.
Always,
Oh yeah, Nosferatu. It's
dude.
terrifying.
It just freaks me out, dude. Like just the way he looked. And then there's actually a scene that's interesting. It's Max Shrek.
Hmm.
It's a picture of him like on a lunch break or something for Nosferatu, and it's like freaking creepy as hell. I'm like,
I
what?
got to see this. I don't know if I've seen that. This picture you're talking about.
Let's see.
Whoa, crap. Those eyes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, this is just him like chilling in between it. I'm like, oh my god, dude.
That's very creepy. Man.
Like that's some of the best like monster, like one of the best a monster has ever looked, and that's a you know over 100-year-old picture.
That's terrifying. Yeah, I think also with Nosferatu that I watched a lot when I was younger. It used to come on HBO, The Shadow of the Vampire, the one that
Mm-hmm.
the making of with Willem Dafoe. That
That's a
movie
good
is
one, man.
creepy, like especially at the end where he's like filming him and he's dying as he's filming him. It's like just I don't know. That's an interesting movie. I wondered because I know that Robert Eggers is going to do the new Nosferatu movie, and Willem
Mm-hmm.
Dafoe is in the movie, but he's not playing Nosferatu. And I was like, that'd be kind of funny if he played him again, like. But I guess it's not going to be him. I don't know who's playing him. So
I don't know, but I'm excited to see that because, like, I'm huge on Nosferatu. So,
Yeah.
and I'm glad that it's Nosferatu too, not Dracula.
Yeah, exactly. I
Because
kind
to
of
me, Nosferatu is so damn scary. But now, like, I watch it. If you're watching it in the middle of the day, it is like the tamest thing ever. But
right.
like at night, it's kind of creepy.
Definitely. It looks like Bill Skarsgård is going to play him, the guy that played Pennywise.
Well,
That could
I
work,
like
I guess.
I like Bill Skarsgård, so I'm cool with that.
See, I wonder, is it going to be a silent film? Because that's kind of like what you know how he does. Those A24 guys, they do weird stuff. I kind of wonder if he's going to
I
try that.
mean,
You know?
that would be cool, but I just don't think. I mean, I don't think a studio would make it, just because I don't think it could keep people's attention.
Yeah, I don't know if you could. You're right. I don't think you could. I think that's something you could try, but I'm not sure would work.
That would have to be something that's like, I like something a independent studio would make or something.
Yeah, and I think when he did that movie, The Lighthouse, that's probably what got him the gig because it was black and white, and they probably were like, "Yeah, this guy should do that," you know.
But I'll
But
tell you, man. Well, since we're finishing up on the scariest movie
yeah,
moments, everybody should go back and watch the almost 20-year-old Bravo special, the 100 scariest movie moments.
oh yeah,
An
definitely,
amazing documentary. It's on YouTube. I've seen it many times. And I
yes,
will say, whenever I was younger and I was watching that as on TV, and those scenes, man, pretty freaky. I
definitely. They're way better.
mean,
That
whew.
Shutter list, it's way better than that Shutter list that came out.
Yeah, that Shutter list, I feel like was like, here's the horror movies we really like, and not really the scariest scenes. Because like, and at the end, like after the first couple episodes, then they just started talking about like the movie. They didn't even talk about a specific scene.
Yeah, that's
I'm like,
true.
what? And every time they always screw over Halloween. It's like I always get so mad. I'm like, Halloween's like not even close. Like on the Bravo list, Halloween is like 14, I think. I'm like,
Oh, really?
ugh. I mean, granted, it wasn't on my list, but still, man, I love the movie. I want Halloween to be number one in everything.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it deserves to be high. I mean, I don't know. Those lists are always kind of odd the way they choose things. And
But
I
then
mean,
they put like Friday the 13th and like Nightmare on Elm Street in that
that's
Shutter
yeah,
list. They were like in the like 60s or 70s or whatever. And I'm like,
yeah,
what?
yeah. I don't know why. It's weird. That Shutter list. I don't know what the top five was, but I knew I could just tell when they started that thing. I was like, okay, it's going to be some hipster shit. I just know that. Those anyone that runs Shutter, it's like they're going to trend whatever the hips. I knew immediately, and I don't mind this movie, but I immediately knew It Follows was going to be in that list somewhere. I was like, they're going to push It Follows, and I'm like, that movie is
Well,
not that. It's
I, I
scary,
was
but
I was expecting like Get Out to be like number one.
exactly, Get Out, right?
And I'm like, okay, it's not, that movie's not that scary.
Not at all, man. Not at
I mean,
all.
it's good, but I mean, it's not that scary.
Mm-mm. No, not at all. And I'm thinking there's really nothing in the list. I'm regretting that I should have put in. I mean, I know that a lot of people always talk about The Exorcist, but to me, The Exorcist, I don't know. It's disturbing, but it doesn't like. I don't know. It's just. I guess it just didn't occur to me to put a particular
Uh,
scene in it. You know.
One thing that's really creepy to me about The Exorcist is that face that pops up in it. That to me is creepy, just
Those-
because
yeah,
it's I don't know. That's just like unsettling.
Zuzu or whatever,
Yeah,
where
where
it's
it's just
like.
like
Let me see. Hold on.
the famous face.
We're gonna show it real quick.
But it's just like the way it's done. It's just like a frame that just pops up.
Oh Lord, it's Pazuzu.
Oh my god.
It is scary. I mean, the way they did that, it's like flashes. Yeah, yeah, that is creepy. But yeah, I guess that's it for this episode. So I guess next, I don't know what's next, but we definitely want to do a top 10 scariest scenes in non-horror movies,
Hmm.
which is kind of an interesting one. It'd be cool to see some of the stuff we've talked about offline that's kind of creepy.
Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah, you'll see the scariest scene that I've ever seen is in a movie that is a non-horror movie. So, and I will say some of the scariest movies, like in general, like
Yes.
are like thrillers and not necessarily horror movies. So there's a movie I'm thinking of in particular that had me like going the whole time,
Mhm.
and it is not a horror movie. So
Yeah. No, I agree. And then you mentioned also a top 10 maybe scariest scenes in like family friendly or like kids movies. That'd be kind of
yeah,
cool.
yeah, it's always fun to see when there's just a random scary scene in a kids movie.
Oh my gosh. So I guess until then, I'm John.
And I'm Josh.
We'll talk to you guys next time.